Yeah, that's why I don't think that that's why I don't think that Treasure Cruise is like busted in Modern. I think it is merely good because the first time it gets Romana, it's like, oh, dude, this sucks. This sucks.
Yeah, blue tempo player Ben Lundquist, a dear friend of mine, will often joke, you know what I think is really good in Modern right now? Remand.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Remand's good all the time.
Yeah, it's good always.
We're talking about, do we think this threat's good or this answer card's good? And Betty's just like, you know what I think is good? Remand.
Pick that card up. Try again next turn.
You know what I think is good right now? Snapcaster Mage.
6 cards here for Danny. It's really weird that Remand is such a good card since it doesn't actually counter anything. It's funny to me. A Forest here for Chris. Does he have the Mystic? Yes, he does. Emphatically going to play it on turn 1. He's out ahead as far as mana is concerned.
Well, Magic is often just a game of, in powerful formats, of mana and cards colliding where text boxes don't really matter very much, and Remand can be very powerful in those kind of battles.
Absolutely.
Remand.
Temple of Malady here for Jessup. He's going to take a look at the top card. You see he's also got Nurburg over there, but he's off to a slow start. Top card goes to the bottom. We'll pass it back over to Curran. Chris going to draw. You see he's got a Temple of Malady, a Siege Rhino in his hand. He's going to play his Temple. A little scry action here. Leaves it on top very quickly. Also has an Elspeth and a Sorin. So a pretty good hand here for him. He can start by attacking for 1. Jessup's going to go down to 19. Jessup will untap that Temple. He will draw a card. Here's a copy of Herald of Torment. Skies are a pretty safe place to be in these Abzan mirrors. And it looks like the Herald may come down here this turn. Absolutely. Urborg, of course, helping him tap that fetch land for mana, or he wouldn't be able to otherwise.
So this is a very small thing, but last turn, Chris has the option between playing Temple of Malady or his Tri-Land. And I think, because he had Siege Rhino in his hand, his mana is accounted for next turn. I prefer to save the scry for somewhere down the line when you have a little more information to work with and when your mana isn't already accounted for the next turn. People often have an instinct of firing off the scry land in the first available time, but there are better and worse times to be timing it.
There's the Rhino. A little drain, a little gain. Jessup's going to take 1 here. See if he wants to maybe sacrifice that fetch land. Not yet. Going to draw another copy of Temple Malady. He's got another Herald Torment in his hand, so this game's going to get a little bit interesting.
Yeah, he can make this a pure race if he would like to.
It gets tough here for Jessup is if he decides, okay, I'm going to play another Herald, that Bioblight there for Chris is going to be a real beating.
Not even just that, but it does free up Chris potentially if he draws an untapped land to attack with Siege Rhino and play Wingmate Rock, which is also very good against 2 copies of Herald of Torment.
This is true. Jessup deciding, I think, if he wants to deploy the threat in the Herald, or does he just want to cast Hero's Downfall to take care of the Rhino?
It's tough because your downfalls are so taxed in this matchup. There's so many things you need to be killing that even though this seems like a good spot, yeah, you just Hero Downfall the Siege Rhino. Great, life goes on. They are a limited resource, so if you feel like you can play the game by working around Siege Rhino, sometimes you're better served doing that.
There's your attack for 3. Chris is going to go down to 19. Jessup, yep, just going to downfall now. Get that off the table. Curran going to draw a card, copy of Courser of Krufix. You see the Sandstep Citadel. There's a Courser. Take a look at the top card, Utter End. Citadel going to come in, gain a little life here. Chris back up to his original 20. You talk about Hero's Downfall being taxed. Well, Chris's hand certainly demonstrates that.
It's all really good Hero's Downfall targets.
Yep, a couple of Planeswalkers, Wingmate Rock. Just really good Magic cards. Jessup looking at his Sorin. Big card in this matchup.
And this is what I think the problem is for the Abzan aggro deck in this matchup. It's not that much faster, but it is a lot less powerful.
Yeah. Jessup going to sacrifice his Windswept Teeth. So there's a Plains. Let's see how he wants to move forward on this turn. Again, he does have a Sorin in his hand now. Sorin's not bad on this board.
No, the way, the face-up part of the game, what both players can see, it's good. But Chris, again, his hand just too much power.
Temple Malady is going to put the top card to the bottom real quick. And there is the Sorin. So it's going to plus. And here's an attack for 4. Jessup going to gain 4 life. He's 16 all now. And other end is the draw. Top card here from Courser's copy of Hero's Downfall. Not too shabby.
I think the easiest play here, I guess the alternate line of play he has is just playing Sorin, plussing it, and taking out the Sorin. I was going to say, yeah, just Wingmate Rock him here, but maybe better get Sorin online.
I don't hate that line. Certainly a decision to be made. You've got Other End, you've got Sorin, and you've got Wingmate Rock.
Here's the thing. The Wingmate Rock is going to be good almost no matter when you cast it. The Sorin may or may not be good on various turns. So if you get an opportunity to cast it on a turn where it's going to be good, in lieu of casting a Wingmate Rock, that is a strategic victory.
Yeah, this might be the best that Sorin's going to be.
Yeah.
That world certainly exists.
So I like that. My initial intuition was just, attack him with the Courser and slam down your Wingmate Rock. This line of play, I believe, is better.
Well, we're going to see how it ends up here. Jessup's going to take 1. Mystery card coming off the top. Obzon Charm, never bad.
Do we say that at just about every draw step in these Obzon decks?
Well, all their cards
Never
are so
bad.
good. Yeah, all their cards are so good.
But someone's got to lose, right? At some point, it matters.
Well, Danny drew last round, and Chris is drawn already, so
I guess you can draw.
Yeah, in theory, they don't have to.
It's really only, I guess, Elvis Mystic and Caryatid if the game gets dragged out.
Yeah.
Everything else is a kill spell or a sweet threat. Some of them like Elspeth or both.
True. Good problem to have.
Good problem.
Looks like Jessup considering, yep. Let's load up. Herald on Herald. Get rid of your Sorin. Pass it over.
Yeah, this is kind of the best thing that Danny could do in the face of the Hero's Downfall, but this is not great.
Murder's Cut. Kind of funny, too, for Jessup, the Urborg is helping Curran actually cast some of these spells. Though you do have to wonder if Chris does know that it's over there.
I think it's time to play Wingmate Rock, and it's also time for Danny to get into the position he was in last game, which is the defensive Herald of Torment.
Ah, everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
This time he takes 2. Herald, 1 and 2. Yep, you can see him kind of untap emphatically. Not too thrilled with how this is going.
It's like, yep, we've been here before.
Hero's Downfall to draw.
Also, Hero's Downfall plus Murderous Cut as Chris's leftovers, plus whatever else is going on in his hand.
Yeah. Well, this is the start. Looks like it's an attack with the Herald, try to force you some damage. I'm just not sure that defensive Herald is an option.
Yeah, it's still 2 damage turn, and you're playing against someone who you know has multiple removal spells. So at any time you can say, all right, I can't block anymore because I kill it.
Yeah.
So you are sort of forced into attacking.
Top card here, another copy of Hero's Downfall.
You can see Danny there with the, yep, sure. Why not?
Absolutely.
I mean, these could just be lands. That wouldn't be good for you either, Danny, so don't get too mad about it. Got bad news. Every card in his deck is good to draw right now.
Yep.
All of them.
Again, you see Curran, he does have double black man out there with the Citadel and the Temple. But it's the fact that the Urborg will actually allow him to cast Hero's Downfall.
Yep.
Like right now is what's really, really good. Gonna kill the Wingmate Rock. Let's get into the red zone here for 6. Jess is gonna go down to 5, and we'll make it 3 with the Herald triggers.
You can't complain about your opponent drawing heroes downfalls if they are going to win the game with heroes downfalls left in their hand.
Yeah, that's also true. Jessup's draw this turn was a copy of Wingmate Rock.
Which is, you can see that it's like, yep, that's the draw that lets me keep playing, I guess.
Yeah, but in reality, it's not because, well,
Yep.
he only has 1 white mana.
Right.
So, it's all bad.
It's all bad.
Hey, but everybody come in. Yeah, and Jessup says, yep, you got me. Chris Curran going to win game number 1 here over Danny Jessup. Obzon mid-range, up a game here against Obzon aggro.
Blocking Herald of Torment, yet again, proves not to be a winning strategy.
Yeah, it is meant to attack as we do head to the sideboards here. We'll take a look at Jessup's sideboard yet again. We watched him last round for a while. We saw 3 Bile Blights, 2 Despise, 2 Drive and Sorrow, and a Race. A Silence the Believers, Whip of Erebos, a Wingmate Rock, and a Johnny, Mentor of Heroes, an Unravel the Aether, a Nissa Worldwaker, and a Hunt the Hunter. The problem here, I think, again, for Danny is that he wants to try to be a mid-range deck after sideboard, but the actual mid-range deck is better at being the mid-range deck.
And it gets the sideboard into even more mid-range tools.
Yeah, what kind of options does he have?
A Liliana Vest, 2 copies of Bats Nature, a Hero's Downfall, 2 copies of Glare of Heresy, 2 Into Hostilities, 2 Drowned Sorrows, a Thoughtseize, 3 copies of Next Place for Him, and a Pile Pipe. So actually a little light for this matchup.
Not as bad news as, the Dune Blast and Mass Calcify versions.
Sure, but the Liliana Vest, the Hero's Downfall, the 2 copies of End Hostilities, the additional Thoughtseize, these are still all good weapons.
Yeah, we'll see what does change up here for both Jessup and Curran.
But removal, good threats. We've seen the sideboard a lot.
The recipe for success. Always has been and always will be in these kind of mid-range and aggro, these Obzon decks, just kind of what they do. Jessup took a tough draw last round, and he's down a game here. But I don't want to make any declarations in the format right now, but this Obzon mid-range deck looks like the most powerful thing to be doing.
It does, although we're watching it a lot in mirror matches or things that resemble mirror matches like Jund, where this style of deck is going to be really powerful.
Sure.
I think that if you watch it play against Boss Sly or Blue-Black Control, something like the aggro build becomes more appealing. But if you're concerned with winning the mirror match, then Arilax's build, I think, is as good as it gets.
Yeah, I think so.
And it makes sense to want to win the mirror because there's all sorts of powerful cards, and a lot of people are going to say to themselves, I'm just casting Siege Rhino. So trying to win those matchups does make sense, but I think there are merits to the aggro build. They just don't really show up in a Siege Rhino mirror match.
Sure. Makes sense. As we've seen with every draw set from both sides, every card they draw, even some of their lands are just like, oof.
They're all good.
Yeah. Temples allow them to work the bad cards to the bottom and keep the good ones on top. And the deck just looks pretty gosh darn good, I'll tell you what. It's funny because, you think of Obzon, you think of Siege Rhino. I'm not even convinced that's the best card in the deck. It's just kind of like the total package is just really good.
It's hard to get away from, right?
Yeah.
You're always going to play 4. You're never sideboarding it out because it's just powerful across the board.
Good against everybody.
But there are going to be some matchups where other cards are your real heavy lifters in the matchup. Like in the mirror match, Siege Rhino does not seem like the best card. It's fine, but trying to be the more powerful deck, playing with sweepers and planeswalkers to a lesser degree, that's where the power comes from.
Whoever made Siege Rhino a 4-5, I think smart person.
How come?
Just so they run into each other.
I would, I actually don't like that aspect of it because I would prefer creatures to trade and the game to end.
And I like that they just stare at each other for a long time. Just moving back and forth.
It's fine, it's fine because when you have back heavy threats like that, then sometimes even pump spells can be good and constructed to break through the kind of parity.
I think that's cool.
It's fine, but
it allows Sorin to be, a game breaker.
Yeah, sure. It's just good to have diversity with that kind of stuff. Something's front heavy, something's back heavy. Just gives the games more texture to them.
Jessup, a very fast mulligan.
It's also been mulliganing a lot in these last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
You can tell the cumulative toll of game 1 of last round where he struggled through all 4 Siege Rhinos and looked like he was coming back at various spots. And game 1 over here where the Urborg is helping Chris cast all the spells and he has to put a Herald on a Herald of Torment and say go.
It's a combo. That's a combo. Okay? Bestow Go. My favorite deck. Yeah, you can see Jessup getting a little bit frustrated at this point.
I mean, he was 7-0-1, and is sort of catching the bad end of some things here these last 2 rounds.
Yeah,
With the world watching.
this is true. See if you can find a better 6, though.
And mulligans seem really punishing in this matchup because it's so much about 1-for-1 trades and do you make your land drops.
Every card counts.
Every card counts. There's some matchups where it always matters to some degree or another. There's some matchups where it's about specific text boxes or a particular game plan where you can afford to mulligan, and there's some where it's just our stuff's colliding. And the more that it's like the second thing, the more these mulligans hurt. This matchup is all about stuff colliding.
And that's down to 5. It has not been his last 2 rounds.
Nope,
That's
it
for
has
sure.
not.
I was going to say it earlier, but I feel like a mulligan at 5 is almost a death sentence. It's got to be one heck of a string of cards.
Or the other person's missing land drops.
Yeah.
Or,
Just because the cards are so powerful.
And they all trade with each other.
Yeah.
It's very hard in this matchup to say, I can't answer X, because it's all the same threats, removal spells. Sometimes Wingmate Rock can do it because you just can't answer the air sometimes.
That world exists.
But it's hard to generate that on 5 cards because it's 5 mana and you need to be attacking with a creature.
Well, see if Jessup can find a reasonable 5. It's a tough way for the tournament to end for him if it does go down like this.
Yeah.
4, 5. He's got at least 1 land. I think he's happy enough. Temples make him keepers. Can't leave it on top.
Also, the prospect of 4 cards makes them keepers.
Land of War Waste. Now, to be fair,
All right. It's a little something.
Chris does he have a carry added? Okay, he does.
Yep.
I wasn't sure if he had a 3rd land, and going through his hand, he actually doesn't.
Well, he can cast the downfall,
Yep.
so.
Here's an attack. Let's see what this is. All right, so we're trying to go the beatdowns.
Okay.
Let's see if Chris draws a land. It's a Wingmate Rock. Uh-oh.
As I mentioned, missing land drops, that's the way this can happen. Uh-oh.
This is awkward. I thought you could cast it too. I missed it. Wow.
Didn't even think to look.
Yeah. No second black.
Just assumed there was an Urborg in play.
Yeah. I mean, there has
And
been every
now-
other time we looked.
And now Danny is down a pump and could have played a Scry land last turn.
Yeah, that's bad news, Bears.
Well, actually, in kind of a weird way, it works out because it means that Chris can't cast the downfall in his hand.
In a backwards way, yeah. I suppose it does. Here's an attack. Chris is going to go through the hand. Here's a block. I wonder if Danny's going to try to pump here. He's got to imagine this is bad news. Yeah, no pump. Now he can cast the Herald. That's better.
And the thing with the Herald play last turn, it's almost like, have you just resigned yourself to death here? Because I know that Danny doesn't make that play last round or the round before,
Yeah. Probably play out of frustration.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to get to that spot.
Elspeth the draw. Well, this is one way to go about doing it. If you're Jessup, when you're on a mulligan at 5, you hope he doesn't draw any lands. Here's the trigger. Jessup gonna draw. There's a temple. Take a look at the top card. Leave it on top. Attack for 3. Hero's Downfall. This is the last of the castable spells here for Curran. Let's see what Jessup's follow-up is, assuming that he does have one. Another Herald of Torment. Take me home, big fella. We don't know if the card is on top, but we know he kept it up there. Curran gonna draw. Oh, that's a Siege Rhino.
And now his hand's uncastable. So if this is Wingmate Rock or just some other big follow-up.
Oh! Attack for 3. He does have double white. Oh, it's the rock. Trigger. Now all of a sudden, that's an Abzan charm.
Which is a little bit of help.
It's a little slow to the party. You have to take some to do it.
And suddenly, Danny back to life.
It's a game of swings.
Yeah. Get ready for a game 3, I think, soon enough.
And discard Elspeth. Jessup's going to take one from the Herald. What's he draw this time? Not any help. It's Nurborg. I wouldn't play that one. No, don't give him any black mana if you don't have to. See, Alzan Charm's going to take care of the Wingmate Rock. Got to take one to cast it. Here's an attack for 6. So now Curran's going to go down to 6. Curran going to draw a card. That's a copy of Thoughtseize. That's not it.
Perfect.
That is not it. He can Thoughtseize him on the way out to try to get some information if he'd like, but that's going to do it. So Danny Jessup, after he mulls to 5,
plays the wrong land on turn 3.
Yes. And now we're going to head to game 3. Sure, why not?
Miracles, they do happen.
On occasion, they do. You see him shaking his head a little bit, huh? All of a sudden, I've got some life here.
Yep.
Grant kept the 7 cards pretty fast, too, and you saw the texture of his hand. It makes sense.
Yeah, someone carry added a really powerful hand.
2 lands carry added and all good cards. So I draw a couple of lands, going to win. Heck, even if I don't, if I draw the 3rd land, Siege Rhino will probably buy me some time. Not the case. Doesn't draw the 3rd land. Now we're going to head to game number 3. You see Jess is going to go to his board, maybe change some things up here. Curran's already shuffling for game 3. Oh, the range of emotions in Magic. From furious to mulligan to 5 to, holy crap, I get to play a 3rd game.
To, yeah, furious on mulligan to 5 to, I cannot believe I just played that land, to, oh man, my opponent's drawn on lands, I have a shot here, to, scry Wingmate Rocks on top, oh man, I can sense it. And now game 3. My prediction is Danny mulligans to 5 again. Just loses.
That's what you see?
Yeah, that's what I see in the future. Or he wins and comes in 9th. Those are the 2 outcomes I'm sensing right now.
You've got quite a read.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's what makes the game great.
It is.
If you guys are just joining us this evening, Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, Star City Games Open Series here in Worcester, Massachusetts. Round 10 at 10. I think this is going to be our last game of the evening here between Danny Jessup and Chris Curran. It's been fun to watch. We know that Andrew Boswell is in the top 8, #1 overall seed.
No one can catch him. Well, assuming that he gets a draw, no one can catch him.
9-0. I already saw him walking around.
Yeah.
He handed the slip in. He's 9-0-1 with Abzan mid-range. Looks like the exact same 75 that Ari Lax won Pro Tour Cons of Tarkir with. Looks like David Shields, Grand Prix Dallas champion from many moons ago, Star City Games Open Series Providence champion, stopping Ross Marion from going back-to-back with Death and Taxes. He's in the top 8 with Jeskai Aggro.
Interestingly enough, I talked to Boswell in between rounds, and he said, you know, I played Esper at the Pro Tour, and I had to focus on work, so I was actively not engaging in Magic this week, and just decided to copy the winning list, play it cold. I suspect round 1 was his first game with the deck. Deck's got a bit of a pedigree.
It's a good deck.
It's a good deck.
It's a good deck. They may have found it, Team TCG player. They may have found it. That's Steve Rubin. Looks to be a pretty smart guy. Can't forget, he's a Standard Open champion this year, too. Washington, D.C.
A lot of smart guys on that team.
Yeah. Take a look at the opening 7 cards here. See what these guys can find.
Sorry, smart people. Melissa DeTore also on that team.
Incorrect. Melissa DeTore is on Team Revolution.
Oh, that's correct. Yes, I'm sorry. Just associated with her with TCG.
Yeah, spreads for TCG player. That's 1 mulligan. You called it. Once Danny goes back and watches this match, he's going to hate you.
Yeah, well, the universe is not a benevolent place. Let's take a step back here. We're going to talk about life a little bit. Universe doesn't have your personal best interests at heart at all times. Things just kind of happen.
I don't see it that way.
I bet Danny sees it that way right now.
Yeah, probably.
Or perhaps the universe is conspiring against him.
The universe is always on my side. Always. I think that when we go eat dinner at Uno's tonight, my food will be correct.
Well,
The universe on my side. I didn't say it would be good. I said it would be correct.
It would
Universe on my side.
It would fulfill expectations. You have low standards for the universe if that's your That's your proof of a benevolent universe, is that your Uno's order after this won't get screwed up.
Look, I'll take what I can get.
And it probably will get screwed up.
See if Danny can actually keep 6 for a change. Certainly can't keep 7.
He's mulliganed a lot these 2 rounds, too.
Yeah, he really has. 5, 6. There's a Rhino, a Thoughtseize, a Sorin. There's at least 2 lands. All right, he's happy enough.
It'll do.
Sandstep Citadel. He's going to start things off here for Chris in game number 3. There's a Temple. That'll smooth things out. Top card going to go to the bottom. Curran draws a copy of Thoughtseize. Citadel. And the Mystic. So no need for the discard spell just yet.
These decks don't really get started on turn 2 until turn 3, so you can wait a little bit on a Thoughtseize.
Jessup wants to cast his Thoughtseize. We'll see Chris's hand. It's a pretty good one. 2 copies of Abzan Charm, a Thoughtseize, and a Johnny, Mentor of Heroes, and a copy of Bile Blight. Decisions.
It's all kind of the same stuff.
It really is.
Ajani is the only card that stands out as being a different dimension of attack. And Danny's hand not really that well equipped to handle Ajani either, given how removal heavy Chris's hand is.
Well, kick that Thoughtseize to the curb. There's a Citadel. And kick it back over. Chris got stuck on 2 lands last game. Not this time. Windswept Heath off the top. So he wants to move forward here.
Yep. I mean, he can basically attack and hold up Charm or draw cards right now in the event that he draws a land that comes into play tapped.
Just an attack here with the Charms at the ready after playing Windswept Heath. Looks like Fleecebane Line was the draw here for Jessup. Let's see the Llanowar
Right
Waste.
on time. 3rd turn. So the turn you wanted to be drawing Fleecebane Line.
Absolutely.
And you
8
just
times good.
And you just saw Bile Blight in your opponent's hand.
You gotta get
Pretty much perfect.
You gotta get past that point in the game. That's all that
you
is.
gotta just work your way through
That's
that.
all that is. You gotta grind them down.
Yeah.
Heath's gonna get sacrificed. Jessup's gonna go down to 16. So you're looking at it all wrong. You've got the negative approach. That's fine. Let's get this over with. Line, kill it. Cool.
I guess he can't cast the Abzan trying to draw 2.
There you go.
If that was
See?
even something he wanted to do.
It's all about positive thinking.
Yep.
See, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. There's a Lion. Danny's hand's actually pretty good. He's got a Siege Rhino and a Sorin over there, and the necessary lands to cast him. See what Chris wants to do.
Just gotta work your way through this stage of the game.
You do. There goes the Lion.
It's fine to cast. I'm not saying it's not fine to cast the.
One less Bile Blight to worry about.
Your relentless optimism is something I could learn something from.
Gonna sacrifice both of these fetch lands here, Will Curran.
Very positive, power of positive thought of you.
That's right. The bad news here for Danny is I think there's going to be a Mentor of Heroes joining the battlefield. And that's
On an empty
pretty
board
good.
with an opponent with multiple Abzan Charms in hand.
Yeah.
Give me some of that power of positive thought now.
Johnny's a really good card. Don't mind losing to it.
Opponent probably spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
You know, good for
it's a
him.
mythic rare. Take a look at the top ones. Heroes Downfall, Bile Blight, Heroes Downfall, Power Positivity.
All right, there
Put
you
them all
go.
on the bottom.
4 removal spells go on the bottom. That's pretty good.
I can't believe that actually just missed.
Yeah. Not only did it miss, but
4 removal spells went on the bottom of the deck. Jessup drew a Wastes. Still got to figure out a way to beat this at Johnny. And Johnny can run away with this game so fast. It missed once. Don't bank on that happening again.
this Abzan mid-range deck has so many ways to take advantage of empty boards. There's so many good threats and the Planeswalkers, of course, the top of the list.
It's almost like people forgot Johnny was a card since it didn't see a lot of play initially.
Showed a little bit, but not really.
Yeah, nothing crazy. There's a vampire token. Let's see what Chris draws. Just a land. It's a temple. Take a look at the top.
And here I would probably rather spin a Johnny first, then Temple,
Okay.
since you're probably not keeping the card on top in any case. Unless your play this turn is just pump up your Elvish Mystic and attack Sword, which I guess is fine.
Yep, that world exists.
Okay.
Big Mystic. Let it go. Not going to overvalue it.
Well, the only thing that it does is allow you to make a vampire next turn, so.
There's Charm. Draw 2. Thoughtseize.
Oh,
Mystic.
oh, Thoughtseize is.
It's a good Magic card.
That's
There goes the Rhino.
power positive thought. Top of your deck can still be very good here. Plus, you have a Scry land, help set it up. And you still have a vampire.
Good job, Patrick.
Is that the right way to do that?
Absolutely.
I'm kind of faking it, so you need to walk me
That's
through
exactly what you do.
Okay.
That's exactly what you do. Is you hope the top of your deck is a delight. Make sure our life totals are correct here.
Looking for here, Wingmate Rock.
Temple, Silence.
That's another redraw. Get to Scry again.
Top card goes to the bottom. Get after that, Johnny, I think. Yep. Put it down to 4.
Didn't even want to draw that card. Now I don't have to.
Again, correct. You are really doing a nice job with this, I must
appreciate
say.
it. I'm trying to learn from the best, you know?
Here's a Jessup Citadel. Take a look at the top. 3, 4. That's a Rhino. See, this is where positivity can go out the door.
Right.
Because all of the cards in Chris's deck are so good. 17 to 13 now. Here comes the 4/4 Elvish Mystic crashing the gates down. Jessup's top card is a mystery. Let's see what it is. It's a Siege Rhino. It's big.
Unfortunately, Johnny outclasses that pretty easily.
Yeah. Here's a Temple. Jessup left that one on top pretty quick. There's a Rhino. Up to 12. Just the problem here is that the Absalom mid-range deck is better at mid-ranging after sideboard than Jessup's deck is. It looks like we're going at you. No more attacking at Johnny.
Well, the ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Johnny's not going anywhere.
Take a draw, another Siege Rhino. Boy.
So he does not quite have lethal. He's a mana short of being able to charm and play the Rhino.
Yeah, getting close. He'd have to use the Mystic to do so. 2 and 1. So now the Mystic's a 5/5. And the Rhino is a 5/6. Let's do this. Yeah, it says I'm going to block here, I guess.
Sure.
Six damage is going to come across. Jessup's down to 6. There's another Rhino. And Danny Jessup says, I have seen enough. Chris Curran's going to win this match over Danny Jessup 2-1. Abzan mid-range does it again. And if things work the way they're supposed to for Chris, with tiebreakers and all that jazz, that means we'll have 2 Abzan mid-range decks in the top 8.
And potentially squaring off in the 1A match.
Yeah.
Because Andrew Boswell is going to be the #1 seed.